What's going on, guys? It's your girl Megan Savage, and I am currently in Orlando for the very first time. This is like day one for me, and I'm out here with the team because we are currently out here to attend an event. I could do a whole video about why events are important and, putting yourself in the right room with people who have the lifestyle that you want and the knowledge that you want and all that jazz. But that's not honestly why I want to come on here. I had some thoughts today. So currently, right now, first off, I swim like a fish. I love swimming. I've always, swam like that little mermaid. And I have my man here with me, and I have two people. My man's also in the business, but I have two people that are on my team that are parts of, my leadership group, and they joined us on this road trip out here. And they both don't know how to swim. So we were doing some swimming lessons, and I was just, trying to describe you want to feel the water. The first two things you need to learn when swimming are, one, how to float. So if you drown, you know how to pull yourself up. And two is how to tread water. You know what I mean? Keep your head above water. That's what you need to learn. And I noticed what I said when I was describing how not to swim is you don't want to panic. You don't want to have fear. You don't want to, I'm going to drown. You don't want to do that, because notice how when my movements start to be sporadic and I'm panicking and I'm fighting to live. I'm literally in survival mode. I'm trying to go. My head starts to sink and I start to get lower and lower and lower, right? And when I started to calm down and use what was surrounding me and what was supposed to be drowning me to my advantage, and I just took a breath and I was like, okay. My head started to go higher and higher and higher. So the more calm you are, the more you almost trust in the process, the more you're not going to actually sink. So with that being said, it's actually funny, by the way, because he's over there recording YouTube and he's over there, I think, recording some stuff too. But this is us. This is what it looks like to work as a digital entrepreneur, as what we do. This is what it looks like to work. So yeah, it's like that TikTok song, I'm on SNL and you're not. That's brain fart. Anyways, the reason I want to talk about that, guys, is because what's holding a lot of people back is their fear. That's what's actually drowning them. I did a whole training with my team yesterday about catastrophizing, and pretty much what that means is you were thinking about worst case scenario, even if it's super exaggerated. And I don't know if you've watched the movie Inside Out 2. If you haven't, go watch it. I love it. I was influenced to watch it, and as someone who used to suffer from anxiety, it really describes what anxiety is. And it's anxiety. The reason it's there is, and why it's even a thing, is because it wants you to think of every single possible solution so you can be prepared for it. And it's natural, because I used to think like this too, that I always wanted to figure out, I wanted to be prepared for the worst possible scenario. I wanted to figure out how I can solve it before it even happened. But here's what I learned, is that inviting bad and negativity in your life, that's what it does. We constantly thinking about it invites it into your life. And I forget what law it is, but it's when you constantly worry about something, it increases the probability it's going to happen. And that's all that fear does. That's all that fear does. Fear is natural, first off, so I don't want you to feel like there's anything wrong with you. Fear is extremely natural because it's a fight or flight response. It's literally there to make us think, like in the movie Inside Out 2, the anxiety that's making you think of all these options to be safe. It's making you go, hey, maybe you shouldn't touch that stove because you got burnt last time. Or hey, maybe you shouldn't go hang out with those friends because they could ditch you or make you look a certain way or hurt you. That's what fear is. But when it's taken to an exaggeration where it inhabilitates you and it doesn't allow you to do the things you need to do or take risks that are necessary to live life, then that's catastrophizing. So how I want you guys to start looking at yourself, and when you make a decision or when you start to get into that state of panic and be oh my God, for example, I just told my boyfriend something stupid and now he's going to hate me, we're going to break up, I'm going to die. Obviously that's an exaggeration. I want you to catch yourself, take a pause and be is that really what's going to happen? And if you do the same thing with fear, a lot of people think, this could go wrong, this could go wrong, this could go wrong, what if, but no one's thinking about this could go extremely right. And you need to start like doing risk management almost. Like you need to be like, is it worth the risk? Is it this? What's the probability of the risks? Because a lot of the things people are worried about aren't really going to happen. There's a very, very low probability, but they make it a higher probability with worrying. Now, I have this quote that I heard, and it's my favorite thing ever. And it's, fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. Once you take that first step, it's nothing. And it's so true. Because a lot of the things that we're worried about is all in our head. And as cheesy as that sounds, like the reason I wanted to talk about fear today, not only for the swimming, but again, every time I go on trips, I sort of get new perspective. I'm literally in Orlando, okay? I didn't have to ask anyone for time off. I drove here because I wanted to be able to stay as long as I want. And because honestly, like, I don't know if I want to move here. Like, so I wanted to like sort of scalp it out. But like, I didn't have to ask anyone. No one had to tell me I had to stay and work. I don't have to worry about going back. Like, there's no due date. Like, I have no one to answer to. And I can go and enjoy myself at 26. And there's people that are younger than me, like literally that I've helped, and people that other people on my team have helped, like that are like 19, 18 years old, and they get to experience life like this. And why? It's because they take risks. And I notice it's almost easier for younger people to take risks. Why? Because maybe they haven't been burnt that much, or maybe the thought of age, they're like, oh well, like if I mess up, it's fine because I have time. And it's true. If you are young and you're watching this, take all the fucking risks, all of them. Take them all. Because a lot of people, what they mess up on is they get so caught up in fear that they're going to fuck up that they don't, or they go into paralysis and analysis paralysis or procrastination. And here's the thing that I will say. I might not be the smartest person, might not be the most pretty, might not be the best communicator, but what I am is I apply fast. I will literally go and I will make, in the time it took you to make a decision on whether to get started going on that trip or starting that business or whatever it is, I have already made the decision, fucked it up 5 times, and now I'm on the 6th decision, and it's great because now this one's working. Why? Because I learned from the last 5. Action is always the answer. Action is always the answer to fear. And if I didn't do the things that are scary, like start my business, like I'm literally, guys, like I'm in a pool doing this video, but why? Because it's fresh in my head and I want to pour value into you, and there's like people staring at me. I don't care. I really don't care. Nothing is real, first off. But if I didn't make that decision to start my business when everyone told me no and that I was going to fail and like all this other stuff, if I didn't make the decision to literally pack up my stuff and move across the country, like I literally went from Alberta to Toronto. If I didn't make that decision, I would not be here today. I would not be here, guys. Like, my story in particular, it was a life or death situation, but I'm talking about in the general sense, I'd probably still be working at 9 to 5. Like, that whole saying on TikTok, I saw it, or it was on Instagram, I don't know, but it's like, my worst case scenario is most people's reality. And that really hit me to be like, oh my God, like, what if everything goes right? Like, I don't need to worry about what people think of me. I don't need to have fear, because fear is the killer of dreams, man. It's the killer of fucking dreams. And I said this on another YouTube that I literally made a few minutes ago, but we went to Disney Springs, and I loved it because I genuinely got to see all these families making core memories. And I'm like, oh my God, like I talk so much about how I got to make money while at the restaurant today. Like my team, like the guy over here, right here, he made like $500 while we were waiting to be seated. Like that's a skill, and that's cool. But, and I talked about at the beginning of this video about like being able to move and not have to answer to anyone and answer to anyone and like go on vacation whenever and all this other stuff. But like it was sort of nice to getting to see the future, because I'm seeing these families spend time together and make genuine memories and not have to miss out. So I won't get too much into that because that's on another YouTube. But guys, if you're scared of something, like I've been asked before, Megan, and I'm not nowhere near the amount of success that I want to be. I'm not. Trust, I want to make another video where I'm like, oh my God, I was nothing. But the thing is, I would say I have achieved a lot for where I was. I don't want to say for my age, because like there's people that, like I said, they're 18, 19, killing it way better than I did. But for where I was at, I made a lot of progression. And people ask me, they're like, Megan, like, weren't you scared to do this, this, and this? Weren't you scared of what people would think? Or weren't you scared when this happened? And I'm like, hell yeah, I was scared. But I just did it scared. I just did it scared. You are allowed, by the way, to be scared. Feel your emotions. You're allowed to say it. But I want you to start rewiring your brain. The difference is your body doesn't know the difference between excitement and fear. So when I started to switch, anytime I said, oh, I'm scared or I'm afraid, I literally just switched, even if I didn't believe it at the time, to saying, oh, I'm excited. And I notice now I am more excited to do the things that I used to be scared of. Like now, like I used to literally sweat. I should show a picture, but I'm not going to. But I had a white blouse on, and I had sweat marks from like here to all the way down to there, because I was so scared to have to go on a Zoom call and talk in front of people. And now if you give me stage time, I'll be on that stage. You better believe I'll be on that stage. I'll be rocking it. And it's because in my brain, I just would tell myself, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. That's why some people are scared of roller coasters and some people are excited by them. And then it goes to the point where I genuinely was excited. And now sometimes it even gets boring, because like I'm like, I want more. I want to speak in front of 30,000 people, 50,000 people. Like, you can push your limits. So honestly, I could keep going with this, because this always wraps around a visualization. I've been really stuck on that topic lately. If you've been following my social media, you know I've been talking about it a lot. But the reason that something seems so scary in your head is because you have a negative visualization. Momentum can either be a positive thing or a negative thing. You can spiral into either. So that's where anxiety attacks happen, because you're like thinking, oh, I said that weird thing to my boyfriend. Oh, he looks at me sort of weird after that. Oh, maybe he hates me. Blah, blah. I mean, it just spirals and spirals and spirals. You can do the same thing positively. So I want you to rewire your brain. But there's also negative visualization. So I totally forget this quote, but I love it. I read it in a book, and it's about like positive leadership or something. But it talks about, if the future has not happened yet, why not choose to believe in a positive one? Because like the fear hasn't happened and the positive one hasn't happened. So why are you putting yourself through the pain twice? Because even if the worst case scenario did happen, now you've stressed about it and then had to relive it again. Like, it's just not a thing. And you are visualizing your failure, so that's what you're projecting. That's what it is. And I can hear some people on this video telling me, Megan, it's not that simple. Megan, like, I'm just trying to be prepared. I know you're saying that because that's what I said. But I'm telling you, if you want to move forward with anything, you need to start doing shit scared. And you need to start rewiring your brain when you start to catastrophize, to stop and go, actually, it's probably not that bad. It's fine. Like, and again, I keep going and going and going with this, but my main point for you guys is I wanted this to be a short little video, just to say hi and just get some like value out to you. The amount of things, like when you finally wake up and realize what you can achieve, when you take fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success, like, yes, that's a thing. When you start taking these fears out of it, you will literally be unstoppable. That's it. That's all. But guys, stay tuned. I'm going to be dropping a lot of my trip on my Instagram, so it's at the Megan Savage. I'm gonna be dropping some new TikToks for you. But if you want to be like more up to date with my trips, about what I'm doing, go check out my Instagram. Again, it's at the Megan Savage. Thank you so much for the watch. If you had any value in here, I'd appreciate a like, comment, subscribe. But if you have any topics, definitely submit them. Besides that, guys, remember, we're savage, not average, and I'll see you on the next video.